Well, we've all seen it happen. A celebrity video that looks real, sounds real, spreads like wildfire only to later turn out fake. Amir Khan, Ranveer Singh, deepfakes during election season, Rashmika Mandana's video that forced the police to act, AI voice clones now tricking people in job scams and payment frauds. The line between real and fake is getting thinner day by day. Now, the government wants to step in with new draft rules. Every piece of AI-generated content will need a clear label. Images must carry a visible tag, and audio will also have to announce itself as synthetic. Platforms will also need users to declare if they have used AI before posting. And the feedback window is open till the 6th of November before these rules are finalized. So till 6th of November, all stakeholders concerned, even the public at large, can send in their response. It's an urgent move because deepfake porn, political manipulation, clone voices have already shown what this tech can do. The problem is also the scale. Once a fake goes viral, the damage is already done. But these rules won't be easy for everyone. Creators will now have to disclose whenever AI is involved in their work. That's fine for big platforms, but small studios, individual artists might struggle a little bit there. And there's still no clear line between what counts as AI assisted and what's fully synthetic. There's another question: will a label even help if people don't understand what it means? AI literacy in India is still low. If the public cannot tell a fake from the truth, despite labeling, the label alone will not fix anything. Remember how quickly those celebrity deepfakes went viral? Rashmika Mandana, Alia Bhatt, Katrina, Amir Khan, Ranveer Singh, even Virat Kohli, all became faces of the problem overnight. Some of these cases and perhaps other threats that come with synthetic content have finally pushed the government to act. India is among the first countries to propose visibility standards for AI-generated content. If implemented, if these draft rules are indeed implemented, the 10% label rule could set a global benchmark for transparency. But regulation must grow with technology, so the big questions with AI labels actually stop deepfakes or just add noise. That's one. Who checks if platforms are following the rules really? How fast can India respond when the next fake video goes viral? We want to decode this entire story here on The Breakfast Club. Let's get a legal lens on this. Joining us now is Lavin Hirani, tech and media lawyer. Good morning, Mr. Hirani. Hope you're doing well. Let's start with the basics because everyone's wondering why have we not done this as yet. AI is not a problem of the day. We've seen a lot of legal battles being fought around it, a lot of celebrities in the midst of that legal battle. So India finally deciding to take this first step to regulate AI, curb its misuse on the internet. What are your thoughts there? How do you look at the draft rules that the government of the day is looking at implementing to curb deepfakes, misinformation, election-related manipulation and all of that?
Morning, Christine. Like they say, better late than never. So I believe in the Indian government has come to the party. This is actually in the global south. This is one of the first initiatives that any government has taken, and kudos to the Indian government for that. We have examples in America, the EU, China is already doing a lot with AI. If you've heard recently, they've also put a clamp down on influencers having to have a degree. But this goes far beyond that. This regulates every kind of content which is used created using AI, which not only means deepfakes, which not only means using a chat GPT or an app like Perplexity to create a video, but also when you would put your own videos and modify them. And we've seen that people do it a lot. They would put up their own photos, they would put up their own videos and then use and generative AI app to modify it. So the outreach is far and wide. I mean, personally, being a media lawyer, I'm looking at this not just affecting content like reels or shorter content video, but also longer format, because the law or the draft rules that have been uploaded does not distinguish between the content per se, which means so again, just to give you a background, there are twofold protections here. One is when you generate AI, which means when you're creating something using AI, and one is when you're uploading them. When you generate AI, the platforms need to ensure that there is an irremovable label on the content. If it's a sound recording or a music, it has to be 10% of the total time, and if it's a video, then it has to be 10% of the surface area. Which means that every time you're watching a movie or a video on YouTube, 10% of that would say that it's I don't know how creatively that would look. Every time you have to, let's say, listen to a 3 minute song, which is 180 seconds, you would have 18 seconds of it just blurting out that it's AI. So I don't know how that will work. So those are two steps. WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube.
Those are the two steps, but Mr. Hirani, you're also, and what you said a little while earlier is important. You're saying any sort of an editing using AI tools will also have to be labeled.
Absolutely,
Users will have
absolutely.
to put an AI generated label there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're editing your pictures, your videos using AI tools, that also has to be flagged.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there were draft rules that I have sent out, and like you rightly pointed out, that there is time until 6th November to raise any flags. There's also an explanatory note that the government has put in uniquely to explain why this is required. And again, just reiterating from what you said, there are viral videos using images of famous celebrities, but it doesn't stop at that. It doesn't stop at misuse of celebrity images. There have been cloning of voices for committing of frauds. There have been interference with manipulations with political discourses. There have been other form of impersonations done. So basically the government explains why these things need to be protected, for it being there being an open space, a protected space for the users and internet users to be wary of these kind of regular scams that happen, or any kind of misinformation basically that's being generated through AI content. What they've not used the word AI generated or AI content. What the government has come up with is synthetically generated information, which essentially means information which is artificially or algorithmically created, generated, modified, or altered using a computer resource. So that takes within its ambit everything, not just deepfakes, according to me.
Okay.
And so I mean, it is quite challenging. It's a bold move, and we'll have to perhaps through further discourse or discussions try and see how this whole ecosystem needs to work out, because otherwise it's going to be a big challenge, because every time
So
a
it's a
video
bold move, it's a big decision. Implementation, you think, is going to be the next big challenge.
Absolutely.
Then how do you execute
Absolutely.
something so bold? Mr. Hirani, where does the onus lie then? Because social media platforms, of course, at least of the draft rules that we've read about, suggest that social media platforms will also have to ensure that their users are using the correct AI labels before they allow their content to be posted on their respective social media platforms. But if the user fails to do so, if the user fails to flag the fact that this is an AI generated piece, it's an AI generated content, and the social media platform also fails to detect it, where does that leave us in this case?
So firstly, if I was a social media platform in today's day and age, I would be very worried. Because there are 4 things that they need to comply with. The IT Act is already quite stringent. The IT Act now, see, this is more of a preventive thing, right? If someone misuses content, whether it's AI generated or not, or tries to spread false information, there are protection under law. So there is the Indian Penal Code, which for fraud, for example, right? If tomorrow you commit fraud, there is an act around it. But what this does is it tries to assume that there has to be a preventive measure every time something is uploaded, to ensure that every user signs up and certifies that yes, what I'm uploading is AI generated, or it's not AI generated for that matter. So the platforms have to ensure that. The platforms have to ensure there is labeling, and that labeling cannot be removed or altered. The platforms have to ensure redressal of it. So tomorrow, if you complain about some kind of content which is not labeled as AI and that it is AI, they have to ensure removal of it. And the 4th step is the penalties that come with it. Now, mind you, this is a criminal offense. There is imprisonment, not just for being penalties for the big giants, but also for the directors and officers behind it. And we are not just talking of social media intermediaries like Facebook and Instagram. Those are the super big ones, which there's a whole threshold of 50 lakh followers or users. So they have even more stringent policies. But every person or every new tech startup, which is public facing, which is going to provide services in content generation
Yeah.
and or uploading of content, would have to comply with this.
Okay.
So
And
it's
this
quite a
will
serious
also
issue.
automatically end up compelling AI companies to build automated detection and labeling systems, because for how long can you rely on user morality alone? So they're going to have to integrate this into their tools. AI labeling, in fact, Mr. Hirani, finds a mention on some platforms like Meta, Google, etc. But the enforcement is something that's been tricky. It's been patchy through and through. There is a larger concern, and I want you to come in on this and tell us whether you agree. Do you think these kind of sharp rules could also drive away some of these AI firms from the country? Because then you're going to have to enforce a stricter labeling, which also means tighter restrictions, which is never a good news, like you said.
So firstly, I don't think the big ones, the giants, how they've defined as the super social media intermediaries, would get deterred from conducting business in India. Of course, there are a lot of costs because the government says that you have to take reasonable measures. Now, what those reasonable measures are not defined. It might cost a few lakhs or more for putting these kind of regulations in place. So definitely not the big ones. They would have to comply just how they've been complying with a lot of other government rules that the government comes up with. But yes, the smaller ones, they might find it difficult to operate in India if it is not cost effective for them. If India is a big market for them, why not? But if it's not, it might be a reason for them to leave. So yeah, like for example, I believe the company that owns ChatGPT has already said that India is their second biggest market after the US. So India is a big market, and they would have to comply. And like I said, it's a big step for the Indian government to have done this.
Okay. From a legal perspective, many have in the past argued and would continue arguing with this bold move if this labeling mandate affects freedom of speech and expression under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. What are your thoughts there?
Not really, because this does not censor speech. It is only putting in reasonable restrictions. Just how we have defamation laws in the country, which kind of defines what one can say and what cannot say. This is again just making the public aware that look, what you're watching is not true. It's an AI generated content. It's not an authentic content in that sense. So it definitely does not deter freedom of speech. It does not affect that. But yes, there are like reasonable restrictions. So even if you see the Constitution of India, it does allow for reasonable restrictions to be added every time there is any kind of mode or medium which allows freedom of speech. But yes, it's going to be a challenge. I believe personally also, every time you upload something, and I think everyone, unless you're living under a rock, everyone is using AI, whether it's for emails, whether it's for creating photos, invites. So this might be a problem. Definitely, it's going. So we'll have to work around it. I feel that I personally feel that there should be something. There is a whole process of how one could, reach out to the government with anonymously put out their views, and I'm sure there will be people doing that from both ends, not just users but also the individuals.
Okay, many thanks, Mr. Hirani, for joining us and really decoding that all-important story for us. Post the 6th of November is when we'll find out whether or not this is going to turn into a reality and how much of a nightmare is it going to give to each of the stakeholders concerned. Thank you for the moment. Well, we've spoken about how India is trying to label AI content and stop deepfakes, but beyond the fear and the fraud, there's also another side to the story, the creative side to the story. AI is changing how brands think, how they plan, how they share stories. For marketers, it has become a creative partner, helping them test ideas faster, personalize campaigns, and reach audiences in ways that were impossible before. Festive campaigns are proving that emotion and technology can actually work together. AI tools now understand tone, they understand language, and even regional emotion, helping brands design hyper-local stories that still feel human. The real power of AI in marketing is how it learns while the campaign runs. Brands can now tweak visuals, they can copy and strategy instantly based on how people react. Every click view changes the next version of the advertisement. AI can help write, edit, and optimize content in seconds, but emotion still comes from human instinct. So maybe the future is about working with it. Machines can produce, humans can move people, and the ones who manage to balance both will own the next big chapter in storytelling. Let's go across to our next guest joining us this morning. Gurteej Singh Chawla, Director of Marketing at Innova Solutions, joins us for this very important conversation, how marketing is shaping up and how it's moving with tech, with artificial intelligence. Mr. Gurteej, good morning. Let's start with what we want to understand when it comes to AI and marketing. How is AI transforming the way brands approach creativity and storytelling?
Sure, definitely. So I know AI is such a hot topic this year, so that's a very very in topic. So Crispin, for a long time, the creativity, it has followed a certain pattern, right? One big idea, one, big campaign, one message, and we're trying to connect with everyone, right? But that kind of is changing very fast because, in today's world, right, consumers consume content in so many different ways, like across platforms, languages, region, and the expectations have completely changed, and that's where an AI is coming in and is kind of changing the game altogether. So let me just give you an example, right? Suppose we have a campaign concept, right? It takes weeks to kind of build a different version of for it, like one for TV, one for digital, one for social media, and maybe a shorter version which is there for younger audience, and each version needs a slightly different tone and format. And that's wherein AI is helping brands to kind of quickly scale, and kind of have multiple versions of the same central idea. So
Yeah.
you have ad copies which can be created by AI in different languages, in terms of visuals, in terms of local culture, the tone, it could. So that's something which it can do, and it can also test what people are responding or fine tuning the messaging in the real time. So that's what the companies are using AI in a way. And what we are seeing right now, AI is kind of moving away from mass communication to mass personalization, wherein it is helping teams to generate ideas, test more different versions, tell stories, and truly resonate, in a way which is very, very personal to each and every customer.
Okay, from a marketing perspective, do you think artificial intelligence is helping marketers move or become more creative, or is it just saving time? Which one is outweighing the other?
It's a combination of both, right? So it is helping, marketers be more creative. Why it is helping it, being creative and also save time? Because you have one centralized campaign, right? So if you have one centralized idea which you run all across India, it would not resonate with the audience. Now, if you start creating different versions of that same campaign, it would take ages for you to go ahead and do that. So it is taking that central idea and kind of creating more different versions of the same in a much more scalable way, so that it is helping marketers save a lot of time in terms of going to market much more faster, and at the same time it is helping personalize the conversation for the customers. So that's where the creativity, the scalability of the creativity kind of comes in.
Okay. And how do you then draw the line, Mr. Chawla? How do you draw the line between helpful automation and over relying on tech? Because emotions that come with a human brain most certainly cannot be replaced by a machine.
So that's a great question. I think what we are seeing is over automation of it. So it has to be a healthy balance between logic and the heart, right? So heart is the human being, right? It has the insight, it has the empathy, it can think, and logic is something which is the machine, the automation bit of it. So there has to be a healthy combination between both of it for this balance to really work. And companies which are able to kind of able to marry this both combination, which is basically the technology piece of it, the logical thinking of it, and also the human, because humans, the human beings have that cultural nuances. India is such a diverse market, right? So there's so many cultural nuances which are there, which an AI or an automation platform would not be able to understand. It can give you the real insights, what is really happening, and it's up to the marketer to decide and personalize those conversations. And therefore, it is empowering, the marketers to go ahead and kind of take those decisions. So that's how it kind of works for great brands. But if you do over automation, absolutely over automation, then that cultural nuances would not come out. And if you just don't do any automation, then it will be like a mass communication. You will not be able to do that mass personalization which I talked about.
So there's a tricky balance you got to maintain. Okay, Mr. Chawla, this part of the year is all about festivals, about weddings. With festive campaigns dominating the season, how are marketers using AI to blend emotion, tradition, technology, all of this in festive storytelling?
That's a great question, and the whole festive season is starting in India. So what exactly a festive campaigns really have? It's all about the joy, the family, the togetherness. It's all about the emotional core that hasn't changed. That is center. That's the center part of it, and that's what the brands are bringing. That is wherein brands are using AI to play a big role in it. Earlier what used to happen was, brand would create a Diwali campaign, the same film with the same visual, a message which is across the country, right? But as you know, like any of the festival, whether it's Diwali or whether it's any of the major festival, is different. It means different to different people. In Mumbai, in Mumbai or Delhi, it could mean, it could be about lights, it could be sweets, it could be get together. For smaller towns, it could be about family tradition, it could be about local community. For people in, Indians living abroad in places like London, Singapore, or New York, it is often about the nostalgia and,
Yeah.
staying connected to the roots. So now what brands are doing, they're leveraging AI to understand and reflect on those differences and kind of quickly, scale at it. So AI is now able to analyze what people talk about Diwali online, the emotion, the symbols, the traditions, and resonate in a way which kind of, they are able to kind of resonate with it. They're able to connect with that message. And that is wherein, what I talked about, from mass communication to personalized storytelling. That is how brands are kind of using that to kind of create very customized offers, across the regions, across whether it's urban market, rural market, in India or abroad.
The other fear that comes with artificial intelligence is also human beings, in the long run, losing touch of the human emotion and over relying on this kind of technology. But let's now talk about the future a little bit before we wrap up this conversation. Mr. Chawla, where do you think AI is taking marketing over the next few years?
I think AI is going to be it's going to be very disruptive in marketing. I think it's going to be, AI is not going to replace marketers. It is going to be, it's not AI versus marketers, it's AI with marketing. It's going to be very critical going forward. I think where it's going to help marketers is, it's going to be helping them in terms of automating a lot of the mundane tasks which we are able to do, which currently we are doing. I think that's something it will be able to do that. And the role of marketing is going to become much more strategic, and it's going to be more very conversation driven, right? It's about having that one-on-one conversation, very very personalized experiences, campaigns in real time, and creating stories which are going to be very very real and relatable, and it's not going to be like the mass marketing which we have been able to do that. So that's wherein I see humans and HR working together, and that's wherein the creativity is going to be really powered by this technology, and it's going to be driven by this human insight.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful having you on the Breakfast Club. Thank you so much for telling us how AI is turning out to be your creative partner, Mr. Chavla. With that, it's time for